Are we having a party here? I don't know.
Welcome to Polishing Profits. Join our 3 industry experts boasting 140 years of experience as they unlock building service contracting secrets that can revolutionize your business. Welcome to another nail-biting, cliff-hanging episode of Polishing Profits. And today, Ed's going to get the spotlight because Sharon and I know what the topic is, and we really don't know where he's going. So this should be an interesting one for everybody.
We're letting him loose.
We're letting Ed out of the electronic janitorial closet and have his way with the audience. You can all take that.
I'm not biting any nails until I can wash my hands. So, I mean, that's...
Yeah, okay. Thanks for that, Ed. So with that, welcome to an episode of Polishing Profits. And it's about, the working title is Monetizing Inspections. And we're just going to go with that because this is some of Ed's experience and things that he's run into. Oh, and Ed has done so much besides run a couple multi-million-dollar companies he built. He's worked with national companies all across the nation. I mean, he's worked with QC, QA companies that are out on the market today and developing their systems. I mean, there's no end to what Ed has done. Geez, what have I known? He had 15 years.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's always on the cutting edge of this stuff. I mean, he was talking about robotics when Rosie the Robot on the Jetsons was still a hot idea, okay? So anyway, Ed, monetizing inspections, I'm going to turn you loose, and this is just going to be another little piece, sidebar on quality.
It was really one of the most amazing things I'd ever seen because it's something that has to be done, and that is visual on-site inspections. And what I saw was absolutely amazing. It was a very, very large account, a couple of million square feet, numerous office buildings. And what they had was a full-time inspector. And she would just go from building to building to building to building, and all she did was inspections. Now, here was the key. The key was that she knew what the scope of work was extraordinarily well. And what that meant was that she knew what was not included.
Okay.
And when it comes to scopes of work, we like stuff that's not included.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's called add-ons, tags, fix them.
That's right. Tag work. Tag work. At any rate, what she was doing was, as she was going through doing inspections, if there was somebody with her, what she was actually doing was selling extra services. She was inspecting everything, but her primary responsibility was to sell other services. Okay. And here's the deal. The deal was that she made 6 or 7 times her salary. So to me, that was a win-win situation because she was being proactive, saying, look, this needs some extra attention over here. Okay. And why don't we go ahead and get that scheduled? And at the same time, there's money coming in from this.
So she got a commission or a bonus?
She got paid a commission on everything that got sold. Okay. And money just poured out of this thing. And I had never seen anything like this. Wow. And I had inspected lots and lots of buildings before that. And it never occurred to me, that this could mean money. So
that's huge.
Yeah, no, that was it. So there's a couple of things. One is a dedicated inspection person. Okay. This is all they do. They don't supervise anything. Okay. All they do is they are the eyes on people. Okay. They have to put their eyes on every part of the building that's serviced. And it worked out to where there were always extra services that needed to be done. And I would have liked to have seen how this started, but I did not get to see. But I saw it once it was in and operating. And I've set this up for clients in other companies, and it works well. It does work well.
Now, this is for a large complex, though, right? I mean, you were talking 2 million square feet.
This was one account that was a couple of million square feet. It was a big building.
So while you're talking, I get a couple questions in my mind. The first one is, did she take, in a perfect world, we all tell our supervisors, our inspectors, right? If you see something that needs done, tell us, and it's probably a special, and we know how often that gets done. when that gets done twice after the last meeting, you talk about doing upsells and cross sells. So did the inspector, or we'll call them the quality control inspector, because really that's all they are. They're an end. They're an end process inspector. What came out at the end, whether it's manufacturing or cleaning. Did she approach the customer with the sale, or did she give it to the account manager, general manager, whoever, and said, "Look, we need to do all these things. Take it upstream." How'd that happen?
Well, fortunately, this was a very talented professional person, and so she was able. In this case, she was able to handle it herself. She did it. She did it.
That's quite an interesting twist, actually.
Well,
she made a lot of. I mean, she made really good money. She made
you have
really,
to have
really
some
good
sales skills, some sales and closing skills to go along with that.
Yes.
And that's important.
Well, yeah, she wasn't a kid though. This was not a kid. This is a professional person. So.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
that really opens up some thinking. That you'd have to walk around that a few times, but it would require the right person. But I'm sitting here thinking, well, you had the right person to talk about what the advantage is. And the other side of this, I'm kind of pulling rabbit out of the hat here, but thinking, our clients in those large accounts are always looking for us. The reason they hire us is they don't want to do it. So they have a bunch of jobs to be done. What's a job to be done? It's pretty simple. I got to take care of the cleaning's a job to be done. I got to handle the plumbing, the landscaping, the pest control. We can go on down. All those are jobs to do under an FM or a PM's facility or structures and responsibilities. Plus, they've got the care of the asset. That could be a huge value to bring that out. And I can see painting upsells. I mean, we did it through supervisors and stuff, which when we finally took it away from them and gave it to the AMs, we got a little more traction, but nothing like that. And in a large facility, you could become a very trusted, relied on partner to bring a lot of things to bear that they're not even seeing with their own staff. Ed, am I kind of on the track here? I'm just kind of
absolutely. The people that appreciated how that was all done were the maintenance staff.
Mm-hmm.
She was kind of, covering some of their responsibility. That's what
I think you could do this in small and medium size, maybe not small accounts, but you could certainly do it in medium size and even some small accounts where they've not engaged you for floor care, for windows, for changing light bulbs, for changing air filters. All those kinds of upsells can be done in any size building.
Yeah. A maintenance tech 1 level sort of thing's what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Absolutely. By the way, and this is maybe a little bit of, this might be a Nostradamus play, but I think this is going to get more and more. I think this is going to increase. This is going to be a larger and larger and larger part of what we do in the industry, especially as we work closer and closer and closer with the management and the development people.
But this kind of thing's talked about all the time. I mean, I can think back, and so can you guys, with larger customers that say, hey, while you're out there, if you see something that needs painting, well, that all works, but it only works for a time. And there's a constant reminder going out to people, hey, be sure to pick up things, look at torn carpet, look at these things. They've appreciated it. It's a value add. And it gets lost. Unless you're talking about it, it gets off the radar because they've got so many things to do. And I'm kind of contradicting myself because we took all that. We had a single inspector and it just wound up being an extra cost. They didn't have any skin in the game, but they weren't organized like this. They were just going out inspecting, giving the feedback to the account manager, we'll just say, and then you get into the tug of war, almost like between day and night people, right? Well, you said you saw that. So I'm struggling here, but I like the concept as far as another profit center. But that person doesn't have any skin in the game, and maybe they're just lined up. Their skin in the game is bringing things and selling them to the client rather than reporting back. Ed?
Yeah, well, that's another kind of a foundational idea, that we have supervisors that inspect things on site, okay? But when a supervisor or an operational person is a defect of some sort, Okay. Then it becomes their responsibility to fix it. Okay. There is a breakdown there. And so if the person doing the inspecting is not the one that has to fix it, you get a truer picture of what's right and wrong in the building. So separate out that this is quality control, QC. It's an independent position.
In a perfect world, that's great. Then my mind's running now, so I'm thinking of you could do a reorg or restructure how things are paid to be able to afford this person. So
Right.
yeah, do you know of anybody, or if there's anybody in the listening audience that you're a larger company and you're doing this, reach out to us because we'd like to hear how it's working. Because this reminds me a little bit of what Elliott and Associates did, but they were a third party. And that was Vince Elliott's company. We worked with very closely in the late 80s and 90s. Again, that separate party, they're going to do a better job because they're not going to protect people or all this stuff. But I think this is a kind of a spinoff on Vince's thing, isn't it?
A little bit. Yeah,
Well,
a little bit.
I mean, he was a whole separate company that sold a validation, will run the contractor, but the idea.
There was a problem. Now there is an inherent problem in the third party inspection thing, particularly if there is money tied to it.
Yep.
Okay, so I had and it was the first time I had run across this, but somebody said, "Look, we're getting killed by the inspector." And I said, "Well, please explain that to me. What I mean, what do you mean by that?" And what they said was that there was a third-party inspection system or a group, and what they would do is they would go through and they would do the inspecting, okay? But for all of the defects, for all the service defects, there was money deducted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And poor contractors getting killed because you got to think about how you're setting this thing up, okay? If you're setting this up to where somebody can fill their own pocket by screwing somebody else with bad information, I mean, you've got a failing system right there.
Right.
You've got a system that's not working.
Well, when you entered into this, the first thing you said was she knew the scope of work.
She knew the scope of work inside out.
What
Absolutely.
it was supposed to deliver.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was
Sharon,
key.
you don't want to be the railroad track that's running over you since you're in the middle. So what are your thoughts?
Right.
I get going on this stuff. I just keep yakking. Go ahead. Any thoughts on your end, Sharon, on this?
I think this is really a pearl. It's a wonderful idea. And I think it could be very, very helpful, especially with bigger buildings. But I think it can trickle down to the smaller buildings as well. But knowing the scope of the work is the key.
That's the key.
And what it delivers, not just knowing it, but what it's capable of delivering based on the environment.
Yes.
Because what you're looking for is you're looking for the blank checks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the scope of work.
Yeah.
So Ed, to take us out of this section, Sharon, I don't want to interrupt you if there's anything else you wanted to add. I was going to wrap. So in all of this, now I'm having the train pulled out of the station with my idea. One thing you said, Ed, you talked about this being possibly a Nostradamus, whichever, potato, moment. Things we need to start looking for is an additional profit center, a better way to run the business. What are you seeing that's telling you that? Because I know you read everything. You've got hundreds of feeds coming in today from all the different things that have to do with facility maintenance, not just cleaning, but facility maintenance, property buying. I mean, I don't know, you used to tell me you get 300 or 400 feeds a day running in. You look. Why do you foresee this? Why are you forecasting this? Because you do follow a lot of this stuff. I don't understand this about your depth of knowledge, and you've always kind of been in the looking forecaster. Why would you think this may be something that's going to happen?
Well, it's because of the alignment of the entire facilities team, which starts out essentially from the construction people. I mean, right from get-go. And real telling was when one of the biggest commercial real estate development and management companies bought a cleaning service.
I think
Okay.
I know who that is, but we'll leave names out.
Well, I mean, listen, this is exactly what we don't want.
Yep,
This is exactly what we do not want. Okay.
agreed.
On the same token, the technology end of this is what's going to get the real estate companies in with the owners. And, we need a seat at the table. We really need a seat at the table.
Okay.
Because I can see how this is going to work out with sensors and what they call big data, which is nothing but lots and lots of info. I mean, that's really all it is. And to see how this is going to be a larger and larger way to do business.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
The scrub down, a recap of what was covered on today's episode.
Well, Ed, I'm going to wrap this up. This is just a special episode of Polishing Profits. And this is one of these things that we talk about often at the back end of our regular episode. So this is really, we're showing you some of the things that we talk about. We just don't talk about what we did, but what's going on, how to do better with it. Because I guess at this point in age, we've kind of seen both sides of the coin. We've been the deliverers, we've been the sellers, and now we're looking back and pulling everything together. So,
well, on top of that, all three of us have clients that we're also seeing inside their stuff.
oh yeah,
I mean, so it's not just us; it's also what we're all working on right now.
Good point. We've got hundreds of millions of dollars of contracts between the three of us in revenue, in annual revenue, of people we're talking to and helping them solve these problems. So, again, just another insight on polishing profits. I'm going to say goodbye, guys. Adios.
Thanks, Ed. Hope you
Bye,
enjoyed
folks.
it.
Great information. Thank you, brother.
Take care now.
Yep.